This week, a farmer's fractured wrist. The doctor searches for a missing patient. And an emergency stitching in the surgery.
You are? That's all right. Why was
I didn't move her because I was frightened there was something from the back, so...
Hello, my dear.
Hello, Doctor.
Now then.
I'm sorry about this.
Oh, don't worry. We'll just have you put together like Humpty Dumpty in a minute. All right. Now then.
I've got an ankle there that doesn't help me.
This one? Aye. Well, let's get that one out of the way. I can do with a bit of light now. That's a little bit of local anaesthetic, so you won't feel me doing the stitching so much.
Oh, thank you.
All right?
Thank you.
Where did you live before you came here?
Well, I lived in Hellyfield.
Oh, that's right, of course. Whereabouts?
The big farm, Townhead. We just have one son, you see.
Mm-hmm. And is he there now?
Oh, no, no. He works for Waddington's, the provender dealers.
Oh, right.
Has done ever since he was married.
Yeah.
We had 2 boys, but we lost the little one.
What happened to that little fella then? Do you remember?
Well, he was £5, and he was big enough to live, but he was rather weak.
How old was he when he died?
Only 3 days.
3 days?
He died on my sister's knee. He's in Hellyfield churchyard, anyway.
You're going to have a bit of a bruise round here, love, when we...
Well...
Bit sore there, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Sorry.
How long have you been the doctor round here, Dr. Brewster?
Let me see now. About 28 years, I think.
Is that so?
Hmm.
Oh, well, Dr. Hislop's were here before.
Oh, I knew David was my senior partner.
Pardon? Oh, is he?
David Hislop was my senior partner.
Yes, yeah.
It was just him and I when we came to town.
Oh, well, Dr. Tony
When I
was...
first came here.
Yes, Dr. Tony was my doctor.
Well, I took Dr. Tony's place. I enjoy my nights on. I mean, I may say, oh, bloody hell, I'm on tonight, but I enjoy it. I enjoy my weekends on. You never know what's going to turn up and when. I won't say, that doesn't mean to say I don't grumble a bit and whine. Ask my wife. I mean, she's always the wives that get it all.
Published today in a white paper will change the jobs of everybody in the health service, from the Secretary of State to the general practitioner.
The government will encourage GPs to take over the budget to buy all NHS services for their patients.
Britain's family doctors have rejected the proposed new contract of employment offered by the Health Secretary, Kenneth
Some
Clarke.
GPs are saying it will destroy the natural trust between doctor and
A
patient.
group of doctors has formed a new political party which plans to contest 50 seats at the next general election. The NHS Supporters Party will target key Conservative seats, including the...
Are you out in the night? No.
Hello, Dr. speaking.
Hello?
Oh, that's good. I thought she was on the mend yesterday.
What did they find on... Did they x-ray it?
Treat the infection and then see what...
Yeah, can I have some music? Who's coming on here?
Either ring me or come and see him, whichever's easier for you. Something to do with the state. Mrs. Tomlinson, down in 4 Railway Cottage, she died last night. She became very dyspneic, and then we went down. She was dying when we got there.
Yeah. This morning, rather than going down to Hellyfield, so I'll cross that off. And...
Yeah, okay.
Okay? All right.
And there's a cremation form as well.
Yeah.
We'll put Jeff Walker down there, for I've got to get him to do the second part.
Right.
Okay.
still alive.
Oh, you're ticking
I'm
now.
retired now, you know. I've retired from work and I'm bored to tears.
Sorry?
I'm retired from work now and
You
bored
finished
to
up at the
tears.
hall, have you?
Oh, I chucked it out on the 15th. I'm out after 25 years.
Yeah.
I'm finished now. Oh, I'm fed up to the teeth. Oh, I'm bored the
You're
first
getting on
day.
each other's nerves, are you?
Well, no, we had to come to the garden. He says he's not going to do it anymore. We fall out when we get in the garden. You know, I'm having right troubles with my eye. See, it's closing now. See it?
Time is one of the main problems, and it's the use of time that is one of the skills, if you like. Put it this way, someone can spend 10 minutes with a patient and somebody else can spend 2 minutes with a patient, and at the end of that time the 2-minute man will have scored more and done more and made the patient feel more and better than the guy who's taken 10 minutes. Indeed, the guy who's taking 10 minutes can often make him feel a bloody sight worse.
You put me up to 6 on Max Ether.
Yeah.
Should we come down to 1?
I think stay at 6, James.
Stay at 6.
Stay at 6 for now.
Yeah.
And I want you to get the walking going again,
Yes.
as hopefully the weather improves,
Yeah.
or you get days like this when it's still and no wind. And I'd rather you did that, and then we'll talk about reduction later on. Yeah.
Good. What sort of a new year did you have?
We had a pretty frantic time, actually. Although, to be fair, I only had 2 punch-ups.
Oh.
You know, a bit of head-butting in the pubs or whatever.
Yeah.
But only 2. New Year's Eve, we usually get 4 or 5. Those are some of the highest pheasants in England over that top.
Do you shoot at all now, Barry?
I don't now. I miss it a hell of a lot. And I was having problems with my hearing, so I had to make a decision. But up there, you stand on a stream on the other side of that hill, and they're like bloody sparrows. But you're definitely feeling better now.
Yes, I am, thank you.
Yeah. But it's been nearly a month, you were saying?
Yes, oh yes. Been having my hair permed this afternoon, so...
Oh, that'll make you feel better. The only problem now is I'm a bit late for surgery. And I've just got to pop in here, because he's just got back from hospital after some brain surgery. Brilliant, that's really very good.
Is it nice and clean?
It is indeed.
Good.
And then you said something, oh, here they are, those 3 staples you found.
They staple the hair on as well?
I don't know what they're, as you said, I don't know what they're holding in. But that's terrific.
Yes, good.
Really good.
And there was nothing on the pad, so...
Nothing, no discharge at all. Good. Good. Super.
Maybe that's a sign that they won't want me in again.
Just only a few weeks ago, began to get symptoms, and he had a left posterior fossa tumour. Had it chopped out at the neurosurgical unit at Leeds. The other big thing going for Bryn, and indeed his wife Anne, is that they both have the right philosophy. And when you get a brain tumour, if you've got a good philosophy to go with it, it makes one... See that jacket? That tornado? It makes a hell of a difference, and you can feel his morale is absolutely fantastic. Have you had your lunch?
No, I'm just going to have some fruit.
Fruit.
Yes.
Have you been busy?
Not really, no.
How's Olive getting on? She seems much more easy about things. She's already picked up an awful lot.
It's a shame she can't get on a course for a bit.
Now, just before 2, weather forecast
Hello?
in the area, and it looks as though
we've seen the last of the sun for today. Rain will spread from the north this afternoon, with some snow falling on higher ground, especially in the Yorkshire Dales. These outbreaks will be short-lived, and this evening will be dry but becoming...
This is an old farmer, Willie, who's no less than 92 or even 93. And about 8 weeks ago, he fell and broke his right forearm. And of course, he was very diffident about going even for an X-ray. Said it'd mend, and of course, in a way, he's right. But anyway, we eventually got him down for an X-ray, and he had broken it, so he was in plaster. Nothing very remarkable about that, except that Willie doesn't like being in plaster because it stops him doing what he wants to do, i.e. farming. And so I suspect Willie, being Willie, has overused it, and he's got some kind of inflammation or possibly even infection around the site of the fracture. So we'll go and have a look and see what we find. Were you out yesterday?
Pardon?
Were you out yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
What were you doing yesterday?
Well, just go around the field sheep and give him a bit of hay or something.
Yeah. Just bend your wrist. That hurts, does it?
Just a bit.
And up here?
No, that doesn't hurt. It's when I go down, if I go down at all.
Yeah. Let's just have a look at the other one then.
Oh, it's different altogether.
Right, you can mobilise this, all right? All right. It's a bit warm and swollen, isn't it?
Yeah, it always has been
Just,
warm, you know.
Aye. Just squeeze my fingers as tight as you can. That's as tight as you can go, is it?
Yeah.
With this one.
Yeah.
And when you squeeze it, does it hurt?
Well, just a little, not much. Not much. Ah.
You don't like that, do you? You can't squeeze very hard with this, can you?
Well, I can't. You can't make those fingers meet.
No. I'd really like to have it X-rayed again sometime.
Oh.
How do you feel about that?
Well, anyway, I'll get John to take me probably.
Can we? I'm going to see Willie's neighbour here, John, to tell him about Willie, because he keeps an eye on him, or he and his wife, Helen, they keep an eye on him, which is very good of them, because they have no real, I mean, they're not related or anything, but they always keep a careful eye on Willie, and they let me know if he's not so well. But I'm afraid to say they're out at the moment. Well, look at that garage. John? John? God, that old bugger's off in his Land Rover already.
Down my river, feeling
James Lawkinson. You go with Dr Brewster, please.
Do you feel better, James?
Yes.
Well, he is much better than he was. That's, let me see. Pardon me. I'm coughing too. I've been running up the hill.
Passing it on.
It's 5 days ago, and he's much better. It was both sides then. Now it's just slightly left, slightly remained on the right side.
The right side, yeah.
Okay. So I want him to continue the medicine, and we'll see him in another week.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Being so far from a district general hospital, we do an awful lot of suturing.
Can you just go around a bit more? That's lovely.
It means otherwise they travel down 20 1 miles to Airedale. You just turn your hand over a little, and that's better. Because obviously you'll be using your hand again. Probably later today I'm putting a few more in.
Probably in half an hour.
A few more than if somebody was sat in an office.
Just hold on tight. And give him a big love. It's all right. Give him a big love like that, wasn't it? Hey! No, it's all right. You've got to stay. It's all gone. Haven't you?
I've not been sleeping for a while. I do quite a lot of driving. I get really sort of hyped up about it.
You get hyped up about driving?
Yeah.
Why do you do a lot of driving?
With my job, I travel a lot.
What is your job?
I'm a sales manager, so I spend sort of like 7 hours a day on the road.
And so what sort of distances are you driving? I mean, are you driving to where, for instance?
Well, I've just driven up from London today.
London?
So I'm doing sort of London, Basingstoke, Stoke, Manchester, and here. Averaging 2 or 3 times a week. I get pains in my stomach. Sometimes it's a sharp pain, sometimes it's just a niggly pain, but there's always like something there. But I don't really know
What about
it
your
is.
appetite?
I've lost it completely. I'm not losing any weight at all. But
You're not losing weight?
Not at all.
You've actually weighed yourself, have you?
Yeah, I'm not losing any weight at all.
No.
If anything, I've gained a bit.
And you've weighed yourself
A couple of weeks ago.
on the same scale?
Yeah.
In your bathroom or something?
Yeah.
And you're not lost weight?
Not at all.
Okay.
But I'm constantly thirsty. I've got this craving for fizzy drinks. So, I'm always thirsty. I'm always tired, but I'm not sleeping at all. I'm
Is there
constantly
any,
drowsy.
I mean, you're saying you're getting hacked up about driving. Is there anything else you're anxious about?
Not at all, no.
Appetite is not good?
No.
Water works all right?
Yeah.
Periods okay?
Yeah.
No problems there?
No. Although I came to see Dr New last week about coming off the pill. I thought that might have had something to do with it, and I've asked her about other forms of contraception, and she gave me the leaflets.
Yeah. And that's in hand, I see, here.
Oh, yeah.
What about when you're doing your job, say you're driving to wherever and back, does the sickness bother you then?
Yeah, I have to keep stopping, yeah.
You stop and do you get out of the car and get sick?
Yeah, I've got sick quite often. The last couple of weeks have been more often than it has been previously.
Right. Well, I think that I want to have a look at you and to examine you now in the examination room, and B, I think we want a little blood test doing to outrule 1 or 2 things, and then I think we're not going to work a miracle today, but I think we've got to keep seeing you until we get you better.
Yeah.
It's 7 o'clock, and I just had a call to see this guy who's rather sad, really. He's a good little fellow. He's aged about 45, and he gets moments of feeling very miserable, very depressed, and very threatened. He does tend to be in and out of hospital rather a lot, but we try and keep him out and get him a little job in one of the local hotels. He came into the surgery very depressed and miserable, and then he ran off, which is a bit disturbing because you're never quite sure what he's going to do. But anyway, we found him again, and he locked himself out of his flat, not for the first time, but we got an emergency joiner to come and break into his flat for him, so that now he's back in his flat. And I'm going to just go and have a little chat to him and see what the score sheet is. Michael? Michael? Michael?
Happily, it was also a great favourite of
Oh, the bird has flown.
who steered us worldwide.
Lily? Lily? you seen anything of Michael? But if you happen to find him, give me a tinkle, will you? OK, thanks very much.
Good evening.
Michael Boyd again. He's, your receptionist said you thought he was back home. I'm afraid to say he's not. I've just been down.
Yeah.
He may be just probably out for a walk, but the only thing that helps a little bit is Lily, who lives opposite, who you know, I think.
Yeah.
She's out as well, so they may have gone for a walk uptown together for a cup of coffee or something.
Yeah.
So if your guys here, you know,
Well,
here or see him.
PC Rogers went down with him at
PC,
5:30 and saw that he got in properly. The counting man let him in. We gave him a cup of tea. It was all right, wasn't it, Maureen, when he was in?
Anyway, you know, it may be just a sort of flash in the pan, but we'll see. I'll go down in a couple of hours. If your guys see him in the meantime, just give me a buzz.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do that, Dr. Brewster.
Thanks very much.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
I'll have to get back to surgery and finish off all the paperwork anyway. I'll bob down later and see what the score is. In the meantime, I'll ring the hospital and tell him it doesn't look as though they're going to have Michael's company this evening. Not so far, anyway. P16086. Continue Adalat 5 milligrams TDS with 1 tube PRN. Review 2 weeks. Stop. Well, Barbara, will you put on practice lunch, for next practice lunch, the white paper nonsense? We really have to look at that again, and I think then we'll also want to arrange another early morning meeting about it. It's really getting a bit hairy. Thanks. This government white paper on the health service, as far as I can see, we're going to be overwhelmed by paperwork. Is it going to be a case of health versus money? I mean, there's already concern. One patient's phoned me up about, because they're quite ill, and she asked if I was going to be able to afford to keep her, as she put it, which is a pretty sad reflection on our relationship up till this day. That's the end of surgery, and I just want to nip off to see Annie, who's in a bit of trouble. She's phoned me up just now. Sounds rather depressed and upset, more depressed really. And I said I'd pop out and see her, so I'll do that just before I get home. Here we are. Jeremy, I think you better stay in the car for this one, if you don't mind. Okay. Oh, dear. No wonder poor old Annie's upset. Tomorrow is her 55th wedding anniversary, and her husband is in an old people's home, and he's suffering from senile dementia, so he doesn't really recognize her, and he won't talk to her, and he really can't help himself, poor old fellow, at all. And she's been today to see him because of their wedding anniversary tomorrow, and she hasn't been able to communicate with him at all. And it really is quite heartbreaking for her. She was a serving maid who lived in a farm called Grain House, and she met her husband when she was bicycling into Settle. He was bicycling out, and they met under the railway bridge at Giggleswick. And he said he wouldn't take her out that night because he was running at Wigglesworth Sports. And, but he took her out the next night. That was in the summer. They got married in the January at 8 o'clock in the morning on, would it be the 12th of January, 55 years ago. and they went to Lancaster for a day and had a meal there, and that was their honeymoon. So she was understandably a little bit sad tonight. Yeah, very understandably. Michael? Yeah? Hello, lad. I've been looking for you. Where did you get to this evening?
I wanted to,
You know you left the surgery in a hurry?
Yeah.
What made you do that? Did you just suddenly feel like going?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Where did you go to then? From the surgery, where did you go to?
I went up to,
Up to the Falcon, no?
Up to the Falcon, yeah.
Yeah.
From a tea.
Anyway, I'll pop down and see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right? Now,
Okay.
just behave yourself tonight, all right?
Yeah.
You're okay now? You're feeling better?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Good night now.
Good night, Doctor.
Records Michael Boyd. Another evening of somewhat bizarre behaviour, but now safe home in his flat. Time 23:30.
Time 23:30.
I think that deserves a night visit form, please, thank you. Hello, Dr. Brewster, can I help?
And Dr. Brewster's back on his rounds at the same time next week. Next tonight on BBC One, it's Bruce's Guest Night.